Morning folks, John here. Now before I get into the meat of this video, I just want to say a big thank you to all of the messages that came through following the video I posted saying that I'd sold my Alfa Romeo 4C. And it was a rather strange video, admittedly, a 1980s music sort of video, which I did because I was in quite a rush to get that message out because everything happened so fast, and I'm going to cover that in a second. But I was overwhelmed by the number of messages that came through because I don't have a lot of subscribers to this channel. I don't do it because I'm earning any money from the channel. It's purely a hobby, and I had no idea how many people had taken such a keen interest in that car. And what was interesting as well was the range and the spectrum of comments coming in, ranging from "you've done the right thing, the car was proving quite troublesome," to "you're going to regret selling that car for the rest of your life." And to be honest, I'm in agreement with both ends of that spectrum. I think both are right. So I just wanted to say a big thank you for that. And with that done, let's get into why I sold my Alfa Romeo 4C Spider. Now I want to open this video with a piece of Roman philosophy taken from the Roman philosopher Seneca.
All right, but apart from the sanitation, the medicine, education, wine, public order, irrigation, roads, a fresh water system and public health, what have the Romans ever done for us?
Brought peace?
Oh, peace! Shut up!
There's two reasons why I'm going to do this. The first one is that the core of this philosophy explains why I sold the car. And secondly, because I want to be the first person on YouTube to use Roman philosophy in a car video. So here goes. No man enjoys a blessing that brings anxiety. He ceases to be a master and instead becomes a steward. You're about to see how that relates to why I sold my Alfa 4C Spider. So firstly, and most importantly, the key question is what triggered me to sell the car in the first place? And it's not precisely what you might think, because I know I had been putting out the most recent videos on that car, showing the car breaking down, costing me money and all that. But that wasn't the essence of why or what triggered me to sell it. What triggered me to sell it was that I'd had the car for 3 years and I'd done it on a PCP finance deal. It was a very good finance deal. If you check my videos back, you'll see I did a little video on how to get good deals on PCP, and it was a deal that I'd done through my bank. I'd done it on a 3-year basis, got an extremely good deal, and the 3 years was up. So basically a letter came through saying, what do you want to do? So that triggered me to go online and first try and establish what the car was worth. So I went online to an online broker, typed in the details of the car, and up popped a price, which was a very good price. It was more than what I expected it to be. However, I did not tick the box to proceed with the quote. Then something unusual happened. Within an hour of me going onto that website and without me clicking proceed, the specialist broker called me and he said, I see you've been on the site, I see you've accessed a quote, we'd like to buy your car. He asked me if I was happy with the quote. I was. So he said, well, we're happy to send a couple of guys round to assess the vehicle. There's no cost to you for them doing that. What have you got to lose? So I agreed, and two very smartly dressed chaps came round to my house literally the following morning with a clipboard and a camera. They looked around the car, they took lots of notes, and then they said to me, we need to take it for a test drive. And that was interesting because the guy looked me in the eye and said, you really don't want me to drive this car, do you? And I said, no, I don't actually. Not because I thought it would break down, which was always a possibility, but because it had a sort of a special place with me, and I just didn't want anyone else driving it. So basically I drove the car with him as a passenger. We went up and down the road for a few miles, came back. He went and sat in his car for a few minutes, made some phone calls, came back to me and said, yeah, we are happy to buy your car for the price we've quoted you. And so I agreed and said, yeah, okay, let's go ahead. So they gave me a deposit. The following morning they came back, they paid the balance within minutes, literally within minutes of coming back, and that was it. The deal was done. It happened so fast, it was unbelievable. The guy got in the car and drove it away. So it was very quick. It happened much faster than I expected, and for that reason I didn't have time to make a video saying why I'd sold it. So the key question is, having been given a price that was acceptable, what was the real reason why I said yes and decided to sell it? And sadly for me, the Alfa Romeo 4C had got to a point where little issues were piling up on top of each other and starting to cause me an unhealthy level of anxiety in owning the car. First of all, it came to the official dealer support, or rather the lack of official dealer support. Basically, the dealers were terrible, the official dealers. They never phoned me back when I phoned them for something. It was difficult getting the car booked in, even for an MOT. And the quotations for the price for servicing that car were extortionate when you compare them to the price of servicing other cars in the same price bracket, like the Lotus Exige V6, for example, that I'd owned, the Porsche Cayman. The Alfa 4C was over double the service cost. And then even beyond that, looking at the forums, which I know is subjective, but looking at the forums of other owners who have an Alfa 4C, their experience of the official dealership also gave me even more cause for concern. For example, a few people had emailed in wanting spare parts for the 4C, things like suspension parts. And their quote was that the dealer just shrugged their shoulders and said, we can't get them and we don't know when they're going to come in. And where did that leave me? Well, I then had to seek out independent, trustworthy Alfa specialists. And the specialist that I went to was over 120 miles away from my house, which meant basically taking all day to drive the car there, drive the car back, just to get someone I could trust to actually service it at a price that was acceptable. And that caused me a problem. Now, at the end of the ownership of the car, I did actually find a local Alfa specialist who were brilliant. They fixed the car, and I wish I'd have found them 2 years before that. I was afraid to take it on track days. I was afraid to do any hill climbing because the whole car shell or the tub is carbon fibre. So you just can't fix that. If that gets smashed, the car's a write-off. So all these things were stacking up in my mind, and I thought, you know what, I'm done. The last question I had which came through quite a lot, is what next? In answering that question, I first have to point out that right now, as I'm doing this video here in the UK, we are officially in a recession. And in my personal opinion, the last thing you want to be doing in a recession is borrowing money to buy a car that's going to lose money guaranteed over time. So I am looking for another vehicle. The key question is, I want to get something that is very affordable to buy and run. I don't want to have the issues like before of worrying about the cost of servicing, whether parts are going to be available, whether I have to drive 120 miles to find someone I can service it with at an affordable price. I just don't want those worries anymore. And I'm looking at the moment. I've got a couple of people who are also helping, sending me suggestions. And if you want to send me suggestions to meet that sort of criteria, please do. I'm definitely interested. But I'm now looking for something that is very affordable to buy, that I can pretty well buy out, well, I can buy outright, that I'm not going to worry about getting scratched, that is repairable, that is affordable to run, and that I can take on track days and not worry about it. In the meantime, you'll have noticed that I've been leaning towards the two-wheeled variety of vehicle over the last couple of months. I got the BMW G310 GS, which I've been riding most days, certainly every week. I put almost 1,000 miles on it already. And I also, a couple of weeks ago, went and got the Ducati Supersport S with my friend Alan, and I will be posting updates on that as well. So thanks once again for all the comments that came in on the 4C. Stay safe. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.